brand new. So then, like, it gives you, like, the moisture, and then you can have your coffee, and that'll, like, probably, like, give you a better kick, I think.
Moisture might be the most uncomfortable word in the English language.
I think
I would have to say so,
moist is, I think, the worst one. Is moist the worst one? A lot of women don't like moist.
Does water make you feel moist?
It does.
It does.
It's even more uncomfortable if you take the T off the end.
Moist.
I don't think is that really like an uncomfortable word for people? I've always heard like the urban legend that for like some people don't like it.
I don't know about you, but if I see like a dessert on the menu and it says very moist cake, I'm buying that cake. I want a moist cake.
It's just moist. Like it's its own adjective. Like the word moist feels moist.
Like you know what's gonna happen when there's the word moist is around. It's like because like dry and moist, you know what's gonna happen.
Did phone sex in college.
Hell nice. Yeah.
Nice. 6.
Well, hey, because if you got it, got it.
Yeah.
And when your econ book is $645, you go ahead and raise $645.
What was your phone? What was your stage name?
I didn't really have a stage name. It could be anything. If they called and they wanted a black girl, my name was Cinnamon.
Was it moist cinnamon?
I was always moist.
Good.
But specifically, when they were calling for cinnamon, I was moist.
If you ever start your own podcast, please call it the Moist Cinnamon Podcast.
or your catchphrase is on the air, we get moist.
Oh my god.
We go from dry to moist.
Mike, you straight from the south side. Mike, I'm just so happy to be here right now. Real Rap Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back with another episode of the Real Rap Podcast, episode 34.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice, nailed it. This is a super dope. I can't wait for this experience right now. This episode, I have fantastic panel of comics. So we all have a shared through line. So first up, I have the very funny and talented Jackie Zollner. Next to her, I have Matt Perez. And on the tail end of that, I have also the very funny and talented Erica Switzer. Now, if you guys could, please give a brief intro. Who you are, how long you been in the city, what you got going on, how long you been doing comedy.
Yeah, my name is Jackie Zollner. I've been in Chicago for about 15 years. I produce a show called Laugh Lab at My Buddies the first Friday of every month.
Shout out My Buddies.
My Buddies. They're a great bar, by the way. I love it. I've been sober about 3 years, and I'm an avid traveler.
Yeah.
I think you should put like a lot more because I gotta think of a lot more things about myself.
What else?
Damn it, Matt, be yourself, man. I just asked you. You don't have
The
to
camera's
study.
rolling. It's a different vibe.
You don't have to study to give your own bio, bro.
Can we go on the hall and just do this? It's a lot natural out there.
Fun fact.
Right, so my name is Matthew Doe Perez. Mike doesn't like pronouncing my full name, but it's okay.
Yeah. Please say the Doe.
I work for a window washing company in the billing department. That's a true thing. A lot of people are like, that can't be real. It's real. I've been doing stand-up going on 2 years in March 27th. And Erica is way funnier than me. Erica, take it away.
It's your girl, Erica Switzer. I am from Maywood, but I was out of Illinois for about 10 years. I'd gotten married, moved to Colorado Springs. I'm an ex-Army wife.
Wow. You got a story.
Yeah.
And then I sat out for the entire Trump presidency, and I lived and worked in Shanghai, China.
Wow.
And so I've been back home in the area since July 2020, and I have put the bottle down for about 80 days now.
Nice.
Very nice. And that is the through line, ladies and gentlemen. So we have Miss Erica Switzer. She just said she's about 80 days in of being alcohol free. We have my man Matt. How long have you been?
I have been sober going on 8 years in June, and I'm also from Maywood too.
Oh, shout
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Where you guys from?
I'm from Detroit.
Yeah.
So.
I was born in San Antonio. But
Nice.
how long have you been without the bottle?
I just celebrated 3 years on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
So feeling good.
And I am about 4.5 years in. Now, question for the panel. So I always try and make the distinction.
Yeah.
hard line of I stopped everything. Now, mark you, I smoke occasionally, but I actually and this happened really recently. I went out and grabbed like a weed pen or whatever.
Okay.
And I was just doing it like, all right, this just something to like put my brain in a different place so I can go to the gym, right? And then like the addiction monster in my body started playing the same games, but like with weed. You know what I mean? Like it started being like, all right, hey, I can't wait to get off from work so I can hit this pen real quick. Instead of it worked its way up from all right, I'm just gonna use it at the gym so I can just space out, listen to my music, live, do whatever. And then it was like, oh man, I can't wait to get off from work so I can hit this pen and just sit down and play video games because I have no other responsibilities. And then this is where it got scary for me. It was like, it's lunchtime. I can do this job a little whatever. And my brain tricked itself like, come on, buddy, let's get on the ride. And then when I started seeing that happen, I was like, oh no, like I know what this setup is. Like this isn't just having fun with with weed. This is the addiction monster going, gotcha, bitch.
You need something to occupy your time.
Something to switch off, something to get a mind change in there and switch off the thing. But I always try and make a distinction between being sober because I can't necessarily call myself sober because I didn't give up. I mean, smoking was really the only other thing that I had going on. I didn't really hop off into like the other avenues of addiction like that. But are you guys fully sober on this panel?
I've played around with weed myself. I've like had a couple of hits, but I still consider myself sober. I actually was in AA for a year.
Okay.
And it gave me a really good perspective. I don't like being put in a box. And I feel like sobriety is just a spectrum. And I feel like everybody's on a different spectrum. And like, I have the uttermost respect for AA, and it gave me a lot of great tools. But I didn't like just being like, everything I do is because I'm an alcoholic. Everything I do is because I'm an addict. And I didn't feel, I've never liked pills. I've never been addicted to pills. And I could like give up weed. But I do have other addictions that come up in my life, like my job. I've been addicted to people. I've been addicted to relationships. I've been addicted to coffee. I've been addicted to fruit snacks. I mean, Netflix. I mean, you name it. So I think like addiction shows up in many different ways. But I also think that, I don't know, I have seen in the sober community people be shunned because they're not in a 12-step program, or they're not like 100% sober, or they don't want to follow like a certain book of rules. And to me, AA, and like again, I have the uttermost respect for it, but to me it's like religion,
Yeah.
Like you can still be very spiritual and like have a belief system without going to church. So that's how I see sobriety. Like you can have like, if you're okay having weed once in a while and that addiction monster isn't coming up, I think it's okay. I think that it's okay if you have anxiety and you want to take a Xanax when you fly.
Okay.
As long as it's not triggering. But you know yourself better than other people. I know if I had a beer, it would lead me down a path of destruction.
Sure.
Eventually, right? So that's my thought process on addiction. So
I'm sober.
Sober?
Yeah.
Were you running? And by the way, guys, like anything you are not comfortable with, just use your comedy finesse to politicize yourself around it.
Oh no.
But were you like? Were there other? So I mean, you got gambling, you got drugs, you got alcohol, it's pills.
See,
Yeah.
for
booger
me,
sugar, whatever.
For me, it was just like I don't know. For some reason, I guess I'm wired differently in the idea that like my dad would verbally let me know this is stupid, don't do it, and I listened. So when it came down to like things getting out of hand, or like the concept of that sounds cool, and all of a sudden it's like, well, no, that's the dumbest thing. Why would I do that? It just stopped me from like anything, like I guess addiction wise and stuff like that. Like I tried weed a couple times, it's not for me. Never tried like cocaine or anything like that. Alcohol, I did it for like I think maybe like 10 years, and I was just like, I just quit one day. I was just like, you know what, I'm good. And the weirdest thing is like people don't believe that. So I feel bad because you like had like you had to go through things to get rid of to erase stuff or whatever. I didn't have that, but a lot of people are like, man, you're God, did you have to go to A? It's like no, and they're like, oh.
But that's the thing about the spectrum, though.
Right.
Like,
It's a
not
weird thing,
everybody
yeah.
that's sober had a problem.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes they just don't want to drink.
Right, which is
Yeah.
weird because it's like they're like, man, I wish I could be like you. It's like, well, I mean, if you're having fun drinking, have fun drinking. But if you know it's a problem, you know what you have to do. And then it's
Sure.
like, yeah, order another beer. It's like, that's not at all what you do. But, yeah.
That's awesome.
Being from Maywood,
Oh, that's right. I gotta keep throwing. I'm from Maywood too. Yeah.
Did you guys go to the same high school?
No. Where'd you go to East?
I went to East for 1 year and got the hell out of Dodge.
What year are we talking?
97?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we were around the same age. Then, yeah.
I got the hell out of there, dude.
Smart.
It wasn't gonna work.
Where in Maywood did you grow up at?
I grew up actually right across the street from Washington School.
Oh, the high school?
No, Washington School, the elementary school.
Oh, on the south side of Maywood? Or where were you?
Kind of, it's more closer to Central, like 12th and freaking Washington. But there was a point where I was getting bullied, so I was getting whooped right across the street.
Oh,
and then
shit.
I had to turn back around and use my size to say I ain't no punk.
Yeah.
And whooping them back across the street.
There you go.
But I grew up, and my dad was a Vietnam vet with an alcohol problem. And so I had firsthand knowledge of where alcohol could take me genetically. My mother would tell me folks on her side of the family struggle with it. From a young age, if it's like, well, shit, you're programmed, you know, it's in your blood, it's in your genes, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I gotta watch out for this thing.
Yeah.
So I watched her as I was growing up, and my dad being off his ass, and my mom just keeping her 2-drink moderation all the time, being a designated driver and all that. And when my dad passed, my mama was the turn up queen out here in these streets, and then I was drinking with mama, and so it was like, okay, yeah, we having a good time down there in the basement. All right, this is fun.
Did you kind of become like her go-to like friend or?
Not really, because my mom still knows me throughout various points in my life, especially most of my adulthood. I've been a gym rat, so I've been able to try to work a life of moderation. You know. Want to have good food? Sure, let's have that chocolate cake from Portillo's, but let's go ahead and do these burpees, you know?
Nice.
Want to go ahead and have freaky dicky sex? Sure, but let's go ahead and we wear a little condom action and get checked out after it. Like, I was all about making sure I experienced life without
The consequences.
As long as I wasn't getting hurt, nobody else is
Right,
getting
exactly.
hurt.
Yeah.
However, when those hospital visits start happening, however, when alcohol poisoning happens, however, when it gets to a point where I was in Shanghai doing a show and we had to eat, we were doing like clean versus dirty sets. And of course, I'm on team dirty. Like, yeah, we got it. I just came from producing a show where I just had like freaking Simeon Goodson come through, my big homie. And like, yeah, we went down the streets like, yeah, we about to win team dirty. Yeah, got it. No, we didn't, and had to eat super hot wings. So here I am with a big ass pitcher of warm Crystal Tiger beer because we got paid 50 RMB and warm beer in Shanghai for comedy. I'm sitting here eating these hot ass wings and drinking this beer to cool it down because it was like wing of death. Searing a hole through my stomach, and all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, I feel like I just got shot in my liver. So I started having really bad IBS, especially like when I came home and I had to just stop it. It's either I'm gonna have a fun night or I'm gonna have a horrible morning. You know, like I had to really start making that change. So that leads me to 80 days now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
They
Good for
say,
you.
I think one of the prevailing theories is that you really don't make that decision until you hit like a bottom, right? Was there, so, and with Matt, like, kind of sounds like for you, you were just like, nah.
I mean, well, what happened was, like, I was dating a girl, and then we broke up, and it was just, like, this torrid alcohol, just, like, fun sex, like, weird texting, like, what is this type shit. And we met at the bar that I used to go to all the time in Logan Square. Shout out to Go Tavern. Go there to get them girls and to get them boys. Cheap beer prices, too. Liquor store also. You understand where I'm going with this? So, like, I hung with my roommate, like, the next day. We went for a walk. We went to Go Tavern. And the people knew me there, obviously. So I just sat down, and they gave me a thing of Miller. And I looked at it, and I was like, I'm good. And then she's like, is everything okay? I was like, I'm fine, but, like, I'll pay for it because you just brought it to me and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, I'm good. And then everybody was sort of was like, you'll be back drinking with us. And I was like,
Ooh,
okay,
the
I will be.
challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's what it like made me like just like stick to it harder. I was just like, nah, fuck this shit. I got this. And then that just coming on 8 years, just like we're good.
Did you hit a particular moment that did it for you?
Oh yeah, I had a few actually.
Yeah. My rock I went to the lowest. I'm like, this got to be rock bottom, right? No, apparently not. But I'm listening.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't so much. I was never like physically addicted to alcohol, but I
Okay.
was like a huge party girl. Like I loved the party drugs. Cocaine was my favorite.
Sure.
And working in the restaurant business for 15 years, it was just wild. It was just so normalized, right? To live in Chicago and go to bars and like stay out and then go to another underground bar.
Yeah.
And I was just, my behavior was just getting very destructive. Like one of my favorite things to do was just drunk text novels to people.
Yeah.
And like just weird shit. It was never like, hey, how are you? It was like, hey, we're soulmates. I'm like, where is this?
Oh.
I had like a weird like personality disorder. I felt like it was Jackie, and then drunk Jackie was like weird. So
Roughest thing in the world is reading those.
I would delete them. Sometimes I would block people. I would send that text and block their number so I couldn't get the response back. Oh,
Yeah.
man. There was one guy, and we're friends still, actually. He
Yeah,
forgave
yeah.
me, thank God. But I was like, dude, just please block me. Just block my number, please.
Those
So
are the ones
bad.
where you send the text and you try and grab like the gigabytes out of the air.
Oh, man.
you get still like, no.
Oh, my God. Still makes me cringe. Oh, man. But yeah, for me, it really affected, like, I think mental health plays a big part for me. Like, I have depression, anxiety.
Sure,
and,
sure.
like, it just, like, was putting gasoline on the fire. And, like, since I got sober, like, I don't know, I can, like, maneuver around that much easier. And,
Yeah.
like, I can focus
You're
on
present.
things. Yeah, I'm present. And, you know, I channeled that energy into, like, things that really mattered. And,
Nice.
like, my life got, I mean, I did a 180, like, since I got sober. So
Nice.
I didn't.
What was your, if you don't mind my asking, what was your
No.
final drink?
Yeah, that's great. So I actually got sober in Portland, Oregon. I moved
Okay.
out there. They have a great sober community. And then when I moved out there, I was still drinking, and I was still like, I knew that I needed to quit. I just wasn't ready. And then I went to AA. And then on Christmas Eve, I had a glass of wine, and I was like, this is the last glass of wine I'm ever going to have. And then ever since then, I don't know. I think it's my pride. I told my mom the other day, I said, the only thing that keeps me sober is my pride. Like, I just don't want to give in to, like, breaking my sobriety date. It's just something I'm, like, so proud of that I wear as, like, a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And, like, when I tell people I'm sober, I'm just so proud of it because it just takes so much discipline. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. And, like, just functioning in, like, normal, like, day-to-day things with people and just be like, hey, I don't need alcohol or drugs
Sure.
to have a
Right.
good time, you know?
Yeah, exactly,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. How about, do you remember your last drink?
Ooh, shit.
Or at least what started the night off.
80
It
days
was-
ago.
It was some kind of pomegranate martini that I probably shouldn't have messed with. And I also had some loaded tots that I really shouldn't have messed with.
So you still be drinking if it wasn't for the tots.
The tops put them over the head.
You're like, I stopped drinking alcohol. These damn tater tots.
Oh my god! Did you guys ever wake up in your bed with wrappers in your bed, like McDonald's,
probably a
Taco
couple, yeah.
Bell?
I made
weird
sure to
shit?
finish all my. I burnt a lot of things in my oven.
Oh, sure, yeah.
For some reason, when you're drunk, you're like, I can cook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it'd be like you put a pizza in the oven, you're like, I can cook this pizza, and you sit down, you just pass out, and then your roommate's like, what are you doing? There's smoke everywhere. It's like, no, there's a pizza in the oven. Go back to sleep. And you're like, it's like, no, it's burnt. It's gonna.
We're all gonna die. But all right, so the pomegranate drink, loaded tots.
Did me in, child. I was on the toilet and with the trash in front of me and just, was coming out of both ends. I was like, no, I can't do this no more. I'm done. My system will not handle it. And it's like, people already don't like me because I'm me, but like, I'm half vegan for a reason.
Oh,
this
no.
shit hurts.
Yeah. Like when you get
God
older.
damn.
So health was also a part for you.
It was a huge part. Huge part.
How old
I mean,
are you, Mike?
42.
Okay, how old are you?
36.
And that was
Somewhere around here.
and there.
Yeah.
No, I'm
He
going
just
up-
jumped right in there,
I'm
asking
going
ladies
up, I'm
their
going
age.
up, no, because like
I
she
know,
said,
right?
that,
That's ballsy.
you said that like obviously your stomach can only handle so much. Like I'm going on 40 this year. Like my thing is like the people that eat ice cream still at 35.
Oh, yeah, your
I'm like,
body
how
goes
do
to
you
shit
eat
after
ice cream
35.
still?
Right.
How do you eat? Like I don't understand how that like happens.
Nah,
You eat it and you fart all night. That's what happens.
yeah.
I don't know how they do that.
I've been on almond milk for a minute,
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I can't even mess with that.
Yeah, I can't
because
mess
with
with it
my
either,
stomach
yeah.
trying to get right. First of all, lactose intolerant. Hello, hi,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
lactose intolerant. Secondly, trying to replace the alcoholic beverages, but like the nootropic beverages and the magnesium
yeah.
beverages. I tried to mess around, had some with some
So do I.
magnesium, and wound up having some ice cream.
Yeah.
Woke up in the middle of the night, thought I was just having a nice little good toot on the side.
Yeah.
And then had to go collect myself real quick to get up.
Yeah.
I had to gather the butt cheeks together to get up to the bathroom. Like, no, can't mess with that. Can't mess with it.
You think you're sticking with? Are you taking a break, or you think you're sticking with it?
I
Too
feel
early
like
to tell.
I feel like I'm gonna stick with it because I used to be a hardcore party girl, but just drinking. And in Shanghai and in China, you can't have weed. You can't have weed. It's
very strict
punishable.
about that, yeah.
You remember Broke Down Palace and all that shit that came out in the 90s, made it be like, look, if you go to Asia and you get caught with this stuff, we gonna cane you.
Yeah,
Gonna
my
mess
friend,
you up.
my friend went to jail for
Yeah.
weed. in
Exactly.
China.
Yeah.
Homegirl that I was doing comedy with, her boyfriend got busted. And
Yeah.
like somehow miraculously did a running back leap past her, the cops that busted her up. But I was not trying to get caught up in none of that. So alcohol was obviously readily available, and being a comic, everybody's just like, "Come on in, nah,
Yeah,
you ain't
yeah,
paying for no
yeah.
drinks."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to holler, you ain't paying for no drinks. So
Yeah.
it's like I barely paid for any drinks. It's just like leave the house. Oh, Erica, hey, how you doing? Here's a beer. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I had friends in food and beverage. We go to like the freaking conventions, like the big food and beverage gala, and everybody's all dressed up. And they passing around in big $300 bottles of whiskey and shit. I'm like, yeah, give me that. Give me that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's all free, go for it.
This
Yeah.
is Octane 88. Okay, full tilt. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Like, it was just there. It was there, and it was free, and it was magnificent. But it was like 4 hard years of that. No, I can't do it no more.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
My first 30 days. So I ended up like I went cold turkey. I did. So there was a couple of times where I got court ordered to go to AA, and I was never taking it serious.
Not that
I'm
you're
just
bragging or
I'm just
anything,
here so I don't
couple
get
times.
fined. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And then a couple of times after that, after I moved to Chicago, I tried to do AA myself, and it just wasn't taking. And for me personally, one of the things I was having a difficulty with was the higher power part, because
Oh
it is.
yeah, that's big.
They do base a lot of the AA program depending on where you're going and what group you're getting with, they can base it in the religious aspect.
Okay, I get
and
you.
I was having a little friction with that, right?
Yeah.
I will say this though, I did end up ultimately finding like, you know, my quote unquote higher power, which was my pop, my pop call. Now my mom was spent years like, Mike, you really need to come on, like you getting sloppy and this, that, and the
Yeah.
third. So she spent a lot of years chipping away, right? But the big one was my pop called me one day. He was like, look, you know, hey, I got this, that, and the third going on. I need to change some things. You got this, that, and the et cetera going on. You need to change some things. And I was like,
okay.
hey, Pop, tell you what, I'm going to give you 30 days. And so that was like my higher power, was keeping that 30 days for my pop or whatever. And then I just
Right.
took off from there. My first 30 days, however, I'd already had a trip booked with a bunch of my friends from work. We were going to New Orleans to go get trash. Like, before I decided to stop drinking, we're already booked. We got the Airbnb.
Right.
We got the whole nine, right? And I don't know about you guys, but my first year without alcohol, I was the goofiest, brand new baby giraffe on wobbly legs
Oh yeah.
imaginable. I just felt goofy out of my element, right?
Oh, for
I
sure.
feel-
And
yeah, I get you.
especially that first 30 days, forget about it. So we go to New Orleans. I still stayed with the trip. I paid for it. You know what I mean? But I'm in my first 30. We get there, and like as soon as we touch down, like, we're going out. We're gonna go hit the strip and da 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 da. We go out there. We go into the first bar. All my friends immediately they're getting smashed down. Some gal that worked at the place, or just I don't know. She could have just been a random off the street. She comes up. She has like little beakers with alcohol in them.
Oh, nice.
She was like, "One for you, one for me." She
Yeah.
did this whole little thing and like put the beaker in a place that was like and did her whole little thing, and I'm just standing there sober as a brand new daffodil.
So you see all this going on, and you can't. You just don't put
And
yourself.
I'm not in the
to, like,
vibe
go near it.
whatsoever.
I
Like
gotcha. Yeah.
I'm not on the rhythm of the music
Right.
that's being played around me.
Right.
So so the next morning, everybody else is sleeping it off in the Airbnb. Right, I'm up bright and early,
Yeah.
feeling like a square, and I go outside in the back to just kind of meditate in the New Orleans air. And the owner of the Airbnb, he happens to be out on the balcony too, and he was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? Where you guys from? Da da da. Oh, that's cool." And it's just me and him out there, and I'm like, "Yeah." And I just happened to mention, I was like, "Yeah, man, I feel kind of goofy because I'm not drinking." And whatever you're looking for is looking for you, right?
That's
yeah.
some higher power shit right
The guy,
there. Yeah.
the guy was
Yeah.
like,
I just
"Yeah,
got goosebumps.
bro,
Yeah.
I'm 5 years in." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, I'm a doctor," and I was, I was on, do coke. I used to do, the whatever pills, Adderalls and this, that, and the third. And he's like, "Yeah," and he just started busting it down for me. He was like, "Your first year's like this. Do this, X, Y, Z, boo, boo, boo." The exact right thing at the exact right time.
I had a lot
time.
of those moments too, Mike.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's weird. It's like some spiritual secret.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I've always
crazy.
had this. I had this theory recently that like, now this might be a little crazy for some of you guys out here, but we're gonna try to get through it.
Sure.
I think that everything in life is already pre-planned for us, but we have no
Okay.
clue about it because we're living in the present to the future. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like, if your brain's just like you're like, man, I feel weird. I don't want to go through the whole religion thing or whatever, right? And then like the universe is pretty much like, don't worry, I got you. Just give it time. And you kept living your life, not thinking anything of it. And all of a sudden you met some dude, and he was like, I've been there.
Yeah.
It gets better. And again, you would never plan that. You never expect that to come. But I think everything's already pre-planned for us and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's like a calling card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a weird twist of fate. Not even weird because it like I said, it was the exact right thing at the exact right time.
Yeah.
You know,
It's supposed to happen.
so there's something to
Yeah.
that. Yeah, for sure.
I had a similar moment. I actually, when I had something happen in Mexico City, which I'm gonna leave off the video, but I
She's
was
wanted in Mexico for something she did in Canada. Watch
no,
out.
no, not in trouble with the law, thank God. But I lived abroad, and I just remember being in shambles, and I ended up going to Starbucks, and everybody spoke Spanish clearly, and I hear these two people come sit next to me, and they were meeting for AA, and they were just like talking. They had just met, and I needed that at that time. And I started a conversation with them and told them like where I was at, how embarrassed I was, like how I wanted to get sober, and it was like another moment, and that was like the sign, you know. It was crazy.
To something you said that touched me earlier, Erica, is for me too. Even though, like I said, there were stages for my rock bottom. One of mine that I did not pay attention to, health wise. So there was a point in time because I had tried to stop plenty of times, right? And I get like a week and a half, and whatever. I'd slide back into it. And there was one particular time I was working at this job and then met a girl or whatever. And she was already sober. She already had like a year or two or something like that, right?
Nice.
And then we started hitting it off, and I felt like I might have been a charity case for her, right? Because I was deep into it at the time, right?
Oh, so you just became sober and then you met her.
I
and she was already
I
sober?
was not sober at the time, so
Oh, you
we
weren't?
we
Okay.
were kind of in the same work environment, so we were all
Okay.
out one time, and I came like I'd already pre-gamed. Then got there and started post gaming,
Oh, okay.
all-star gaming, before game.
She saw you when you were
meditating.
still drunk.
She
Okay.
saw I was trashed out.
Nice.
And then she like gave me a ride like home. We didn't do anything that night. She was just like, hey, try and get sober.
Right.
She was trying to give me the rundown, right?
Yeah.
And so I tried at that time. I was like, all right, let me give it a try. Maybe she's on to something, right? So then we started hitting it off, and the particular time that we were going to meet up for the first time and kind of take it to the next level is I hadn't been drinking for probably about a week and some change I had logged, right? But then she came over, and at that time I had tied alcohol to what I thought my worth was being funny. I thought it was based in
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah.
My worth sexually, I
Yeah.
thought was based in alcohol. You know what I mean? I tied it to a lot, like my thought process, thinking about jokes or just being funny.
Right.
I associated that with alcohol. So
Yeah.
when especially sexually. That
Oh,
was
dude,
definitely
huge.
tied to alcohol. Like if I was gonna get down on my get down, like let me get a couple of shots so I can get in the mood,
Yeah.
feel groovy, say what
Really?
I gotta say, do what I
See-
gotta do.
See, this is where I come. Like, I'm just the complete opposite. I'm like, are those titties? Okay, we're in the mood. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
No.
I'm at that point now, but at
Okay.
that time, I had been drinking for so long that it was a symbiotic
So
relationship.
it was just
for
a
me.
normality.
Yeah.
It was
I
just
struggled
the
with that,
flexion
too.
stuff,
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had not had sober sex, like, probably.
When I was
When I
drinking,
quit.
having sober sex would be
It's
like,
weird,
whoa,
man.
wait,
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
eye contact? What?
You're not wasted? What? Yeah.
Not slurring my words. But anyway, so she's coming over for the first time. I don't have I'm a week and some change in. I'm in super goofy mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's too late for me to go out and grab a bottle of anything. Right? So I'm like, fuck, I can't do this. You know what I mean? I go to my bathroom, grab Listerine.
Yeah, there's
Put it in a glass over ice and like water it down. We only had like physical encounters twice. After that, she cut me off because I think she kind of
Figured
felt
it
the
out.
vibes and
Yeah.
knew that I was. But here's the thing: is that I did it. So she's coming over and I'm like, boom, slam some Listerine. Horrible, by the way. And I'm like,
minty
all right,
fresh, though.
I'm not
That
buzzed
first
yet.
kiss though is gonna be fucking dynamite.
Yeah, she's like, wow. No
So that's the
gingivitis
only
here.
good thing about it. No disease in that mouth right now.
So I slammed it. Longer the short though, put me in the hospital. It was probably an ulcer.
Yeah,
like
that's too much,
I
like,
mean, I'm talking about blood, like unhealthy
Yeah.
amounts
From
going
drinking
to the
Listerine?
bathroom. From drinking Listerine, I slammed like between those two encounters. I probably slammed like a half a thing, and it's
Ugh.
basically I don't know the chemical breakdown, but I think it's like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, it's
mixed with spearmint.
pretty camphor bleachy, but it's pretty like up there. I think, you know.
So like when I'm going to the bathroom, I'm seeing like scary amounts of blood. Like I'm nervous. You know what I mean? I go to the hospital. My roommate at the time was like bringing me like Jamaican witch doctor remedies. Like here's like goat's milk. I'm trying.
I want those kind of
Feathers and shit dappling.
That's great.
Something that looks like what you trying to get rid of. He dappling you with.
Is this a dead frog on my nipples? you know, and but like so. I mean, it got to the point where it was taken away from me physically.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I still try to lie to myself for an amount of time, but that was the first part where it was like real scary. Like the things I'm doing are directly leading to me dying way sooner than
Yeah.
I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gets to that level for some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, a guy that I think is like a pretty cool guy. His name is George Jones. I don't know if you ever heard of George Jones. They did a thing on Showtime. I think it's like the guy that plays.
Do me one solid, if you could. I think scoot your chair maybe a little
Okay.
bit closer to the mic.
A lot better. Cool. He I can't think of the guy's name that plays him, but it's called George and Tammy. It's like brand new, I think, on like one of the streaming things or whatever. George Jones was such an alcoholic. This guy, like, he couldn't drive his car to the bar, so he drove his tractor. Not like a big dumbass tractor, but something you mow the lawn with, on the expressway to go and get alcohol. The cops pull him over, and he starts swinging at the police like crazy.
As you do.
So it's just always interesting to hear like how alcohol hits people differently and stuff like that. So the good news, you've never been on a tractor before, but Listerine has cleaned out your insides. Like your ass was minty fresh.
Gave me an ulcer. Fair
Seriously.
trade.
Yeah. Man. You ever had anything like that happen to you?
I was just thinking the whole time about George Jones doing all that, and Tammy
Yeah.
Wynette made "Stand by Your Man."
Yeah. 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 Imagine if he had Listerine, then it'd be like a lot closer, I think.
I don't know how she was standing by all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I had somebody tell me one of those little slug lines before. It's like 100 100 drinks is not enough. One drink is too many.
Oh yeah.
I can
It's
see
kind of
that.
like the thing. You know what I mean?
I can see
Yeah, I
that,
know.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's
It's
like
true.
like for me. So I'll tell you the I don't really have cravings like that. Once I made it past my first year, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then things started progressively getting way better for me, life-wise.
Same,
You know what I
same,
mean?
yeah.
But I think probably the strongest I've ever been pulled back to the other side. And it wasn't a tough one, but it was the one. I could be in a bar now. I can be
Yeah.
around people. We're gonna talk about being sober around drunk people.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna get right to that.
Let's do it.
But before we get there,
Yeah.
the one that got me, it could be anywhere. People could be pouring up, having a great time, whatever. Nothing. I'm fine. I was at a pool hall on I think 87th and Cottage Grove. I'm in there, and it's just one of those smoked out, bunch of old heads gambling and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And this, I might not have been a crackhead, but a lot of crackhead vibes.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I see that.
And he's walking by me, and he must have said something to me like, hey, you got a square balls or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I just smelled Newports and rum and coke on his breath. And my knees buckled. I was like, oh, man. Because I just,
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
I know
was
what you
like,
mean,
we're in
yeah.
a pool hall. They're playing like Smokey Robinson.
They're playing Smokey Robinson.
Whatever they're playing.
In the
That
Smokey
new
pool
gas
hall,
They playing that new Smokey gasm.
Yes. Yeah.
They're playing Stand By Your Man.
I'm just glad the Miracles had the night off. It's just all smoky and shit.
They were playing the Delphonics, and
Ooh.
but no,
That's so funny.
but I just like just smelling old crackhead rum and coke cigarette breath put me in a vibe where I was like, oh, he's just so mellow right now.
Now here, let me ask you a question. Now, imagine like it was a really attractive woman that came out with the same breath
Yeah,
I was thinking that
with
too.
a different outfit on, obviously
yeah.
than the guy that's a crackhead.
Sure.
Do you then go over to that side then?
Yeah, what was it about the
Because if it was a
crackhead?
dude, obviously you might not be sexually attracted to a guy, so
That might have
that
sounded
cuts
suspect
it
the
out.
way I'm laying
But
it
like
out.
the guy's
Yeah.
breath alone was, you were just like, ooh.
So,
So imagine if there was like other assets
Yeah.
to that, would that have like really have tweaked you maybe then, or
Well, so it wasn't like I talked to him and his breath made me moist, right? It was, it was more the circumstance of I was living vicariously through him for a second,
Right.
and I was like, the vibe you're on right now
Yeah.
is the one I miss, because there's a certain part of like the drinking that's fun.
Oh,
It's
for
the part
sure.
that's fun for everybody.
Yeah.
It's the beginning. It's
Yeah.
it's the first
Right.
3 drinks
sure.
and the first 48 minutes. And then minute 49 and the next 5 drinks kind of takes a bit of a turn, right?
see, drinking's great until like you wake up the next morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, reading like
there-
she was saying,
yeah.
reading those texts the next day, the
Yeah.
phone calls I've
Yeah.
made, the people I've reached out to that we haven't talked in 3.5 years, and for a good reason. And then I'm just sitting there alone on a Tuesday at 2 a.m. in my feelings.
On a Tuesday. All right. 8 o'clock at night.
Going, I've got to find out what such and such has been doing.
Yeah.
And then write that text and shoot it out, and
man.
then the next day I look at my phone like it's hot, like I can't even like I don't want to.
You don't want the answer. You don't know. You don't want to even
I
read it
don't-
because like some people have their phones or whatever where it's like it tells you like when they read it, the text or whatever. That's like the last thing you want to see. It's like not read or read and not answered because it's just like, oh well, that's even worse.
Yeah.
No.
No, those are difficult. Is there any particular? Did you find it in yourself to be like this is unhealthy? Obviously, before you started making the decision to cut it off.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like myself towards the end at all. I really loathe her, actually. But I don't know, once you're in that, like, destructive spiral, I don't know, there's something about being destructive and self-sabotaging that brings some life to you. And I feel like it was just, like, a mixture of, like, feeling depressed and just being unhappy and, like, just, I don't know, it's like smashing a wall. Like, it just feels good in the moment, right? And then I didn't realize how much destruction I had caused sometimes, you know? I never got like arrested or anything, but I just felt like I was just like a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I embarrassed myself. Yeah, I mean, it just makes me cringe. But I mean, looking back now, like being 3 years sober, I'm like, I have so much grace for that person. And like what you were saying, like after that first year, I'm like, you know, she was a sad person.
Sure.
Like I feel bad for her. That version of me, like she's come a long way, and like she was in pain. I mean, a lot of people that have substance abuse issues, there's a lot of trauma and a lot of shit going on deep within. And like,
Sure.
I feel like people should have a lot more empathy for that.
Sure,
like,
sure.
Now I can spot an alcoholic like across the bar. I'm like, you're
Easy.
You're one of me. You're in my people.
There's because there's a difference
I can
between
spot you. Like I know a normal drinker from like someone that's got a problem.
you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can spot the ones that's like, oh, this isn't just a fun Saturday for you,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah. You know.
How has it been being around? Because we're all comics, we're all in the game of just debauchery, right? Like you can literally
Make it sound like a
get
bad
paid
thing. No.
Yeah, it is definitely. There's no redeeming qualities to being a comedian, Matt. Like what do you?
Well, I mean, you tell that to Chris Rock right now.
Yeah, he got slapped on TV in front
And
of his
how
mama
much
in the
money
world.
how much money did he make on that slap?
Fair enough. Yeah, but no, don't be proud of what we are. We are what we are, but
I think someone's gonna go back on off the wagon tonight right now with that attitude.
damn, Matt, do we need to have an intervention for you right now?
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh yeah. No, definitely not.
You gotta be positive. I think anything you do, you gotta be like have like an open mind. Obviously, like when you're up on stage and nobody's laughing, the vibe is completely crap, or whatever. You still gotta, in my opinion, just like gotta have that open mind and be like, you know what, I'm doing this, I'm getting through it, and then you do it again.
Yeah, fair enough.
As you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, being around the debauchery, except for Matt and his glass half full ass.
Yeah. I write that in all my
Matt the happy comedian.
I write that in all my set lists now. I write, you get to do this, and your glass half full. I swear to I don't give a crap what anybody fucking says. That gets me through so much when I'm up there. Because at the end of the day, it's like, because you would think to yourself, oh, it's Thursday. Oh, I don't want to go to that mic, but I have to go to that mic.
Yeah.
Right then and there, you've already set your standards so low. But if you tell yourself, you get to do this, it's a whole different ball game because it's like, yes, I get to go up there and try.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just where my brain's at.
I just like being cynical.
I
in
know.
my heart.
I know.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
fun. I wish I wasn't glass half full, but it's like damn
being around people that are still getting down with the get down. How is that working for you?
It's working. I'm already coming out the gate knowing that I'm quite a bit older than a lot of comedians that I perform with. And then I've had various moments where I've been, you know, I'm not drinking this week, or I'm trying not to drink this show, or give me a Heineken Zero this show, or what have you. So I've always had those kind of moments where I've just kind of been sitting in the cut. Yeah, how y'all doing? How you doing? All right.
I hate drunk people.
Yeah, it was like that.
And cokeheads. Oh God, they're the most annoying people on the planet. Like their jaws. You know.
Chewing the invisible
Dude,
bubble.
How
like
annoying
you're so annoying. I was one of the most annoying ones too. But like now I'm like sober and I fucking hate drunk people. I'm like, and I still like to go out. I'll go out and have a good time. But I went to Kingston Mines recently.
Oh, nice,
I
nice,
fucking
nice.
loved it.
Yeah.
As soon as it hit midnight, I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm going to
Yeah.
bed. Now I have like a cutoff. Like I'll go out, I'll party, I'll go dance. Like I'll like do shots of water where people do shots.
Nice, that works.
I'm still a party girl at heart,
That
but I'm going to
placebo
bed by
mindset, yeah.
midnight. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I
yeah.
handle it. Because anything after midnight, I'm like, I don't need to be around
It
that.
starts
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
tribal unity
Yeah.
that goes on.
Yeah.
And they look at you like they're all shoplifting and you're not. Like, we can't trust Matt.
Hey, you don't gotta trust Matt. Just know I'm there for you when I'm holding your hair and you're throwing up on something.
Yeah.
Fair enough, yeah. Did you find yourself, Erica, associating like alcohol with other parts of your personality?
Absolutely. I was just like you when it comes to feeling funny and sexy. Funny and sexy. I knew I had to get to a point where I had to start cutting shit off when I was getting whole bottles of Douce and thinking, it's my drink tonight. No,
Expensive
Yeah.
alcohol.
Well,
Right? I like
That's
Fireball.
her drink tonight. She's got to go out.
partially, but it's like getting in the mood. What do I need? I was tired of just doing Henny. I was getting to the point where my mom was like, "Yeah, baby, you know I got a bottle of Henny for you up front." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, mama." It was like I shouldn't have my mama running me bottles of Henny. And like me and the boyfriend going to a nice little hotel room, whatever. I should need some Douce to make the night better. And so it was a lot better once I started just being mindful about all of that. It's like just about the time I was getting ready to leave, maybe like 2 years before I left, one of my best friends in Shanghai, who's one of the backbone of the Shanghai comedy scene, and the fact they even have a scene now emerging after the second round of lockdowns last year. Y'all watching news?
News?
He had started working on getting sober, and he had been doing comedy for like 4 years before he came, or before we met, and he was Mr. Hardcore Drunk. He was knocking him back. I'm like, damn, and you going up right now? You okay? But he got to the point where he just got so zen with it, and then started like kicking sugar and everything, and would be telling me about his progress, and I'm like, you know, you an inspiration. Another
Hell yeah.
I might do what you do one day when I get grown.
That reminds me. Has anyone had like friends reach out to you about your sobriety? As soon as I got sober, and I've been sober, and I talk about it on social media, you'd be surprised how many people will reach out to me and be like, "Hey, Jackie, like, can we grab coffee? I want to talk about your sobriety. I'm like really curious about it." And that alone too, like, keeps me going, because I'm like, you know, like, people see that I'm doing well being sober, like, you know, this is great, and I've helped some people through that process.
Nice.
I'm curious if anyone else is.
I've never had that, but like anytime I go out, like if I like used to hang with my cousin or something like that, we go to a bar. Like the first things out of his mouth is as he's introducing me to all his people, he's like, he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
And then it's like I get like 3 people that just hang out. It's like, hey man, that's some real shit though. Like I've been like meaning to give it up. Like what'd you do? And I was like, I just stopped drinking. It's like, yeah, but what'd you do though? It's like, okay, you're drinking right now. He's like, yeah, I stopped that. And he was like that? I was like, well, yeah, that's what I did. And they're just like, well, I can't do that. I was like, well, then you just keep drinking then. I don't know what to tell you. Cause it's a Saturday night. I'm not trying to ruin this guy's night and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're asking questions like, how did they do it? And it's just like, that's how it worked for me. It's just like, but obviously, if you're like struggling with it, go to like a meeting or something like that. And they're just like, all right. Can I get another beer? Yeah. It's like, well, it's not for you
hard.
then.
That's a hard distinction to make too.
Yeah.
I don't like superlatives, by the way. Don't introduce me as, this is Mike the comedian.
Yeah.
This is Mike, he doesn't drink. Like, please don't set me up for
I don't mind it. It's just the fact that like it's just not called for. You know what I'm saying? If somebody does it, it's like whatever. I'll get through it, but it's not like it's not like, please, this is my intro. This is my title. I'm the sober one.
But I think especially with drinking, if somebody's like, this is Mike, or this is Matt, or this is Jackie, they don't drink. Now all of a sudden you've made a distinction,
right?
And everybody who is drinking, all of a sudden, so you're judging me now, huh? What, you better than me?
A lot of people have that,
Yeah.
Because you kind of when you drink in my mind, you're kind of making an agreement. It's like, all right, we're kind of blurring the rules a little bit. Let's go hop over here, and like it just went from true false to multiple choice. You know what I mean?
They could definitely create a vibe in there for you, which is weird because it's like you're just there to have fun, and then all of a sudden they're just like, "You doing okay?" It's like, yeah.
I've had people like not want to drink because I'm not drinking. I'm just like, go drink, dude. Enjoy your
Yeah,
life. Like,
I do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not gonna get shit faced. Yeah.
Like
Let's
if
treat
we
us
were
like
out
we're
here,
normal.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be like I have cancer. You know.
Because if we're at the same bar and we were both drinking, and I just pull out a heroin needle, and you go, wait a minute, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you judging me now? It's like, no, I'm doing my thing. You don't do heroin while I'm doing it. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys.
That's so true.
So so now, like my girl that I'm dating, she does drink, but prior to that, I took that first year off. I didn't I didn't really date like that. I might have got freaky deaky like a handful of times. Like I really kind of took that time. Let me get in the gym. Let me get myself together. This, that, and the third. Like, I still got this whole physical situation that popped up because I'm drinking. You know what I mean? I was at my heaviest. I was like just about to hit 200 pounds. You know what I mean? So I was like, I really got to focus on myself. And then plus, I just felt too goofy to really engage and talk to other people.
The mindset, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It tied. But after that first year, I started having a mental kind of problem. Like I tried to make it funny on stage. I don't think it ever really came to fruition. But dating somebody, I'm not drinking, she's drinking, and I'm like, am I like? I tried to make it funny on stage, but in my true mental place, I was like, am I taking advantage of her?
Yeah.
Because if we're both drinking, we both signed the contract that said, hey, we can be in a drunk vibe, and drunk vibes is vibes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you're in a drunk vibe and I'm in a sober vibe, then it kind of feels like I'm abusing that situation.
I mean, I feel like it depends on like how you set it up though. Like if you're doing this joke and like you are the punchline, then you're good to go.
I'm not talking about the joke. I'm talking about real life.
But even with real life though, that's technically it too though.
I
It's
feel
like
you,
if
Mike.
you're,
I know what you're
if
saying,
you're
man.
like the person that's like the person that's like, because you're not obviously taking advantage of this person, right?
Well, that was what was puzzling in my brain.
Right, but you're not though.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, does she call you sober? Does she want to hang with you sober?
I guess it depends on like how
Then
much
you're not
she's
taking advantage
drinking.
of the
If she's
person.
wasted and you're dead sober, then yeah, like you should probably wait.
Right. If you're hanging out with her, Lily, when she calls you right out of the bar, I mean, then it's like up for debate. But if she texts you sober stuff, you actually go out and do sober things or whatever, and then she gets shit faced at night or whatever happens, that you're not taking advantage of the person. You just accept that person for who that person is.
Like if she can't get into the Uber, I wouldn't sleep with her.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But if she's had a
If she
couple
didn't get
glasses of
upstairs.
wine, she's just gonna be a little bit more freaky. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
But I feel you. I've had the hardest time. I haven't dated it since I got sober. So like now, like this year, I'm like finally putting myself out there, and it's been like struggle bus. Like even like intimacy, because like my whole personality was like fun party girl. I picked up guys. I felt like I was like the playboy, like girl. Like that was my charm. Like I was just a free spirit and wild, and now I'm like I don't know how to flirt. Sometimes I'm like, like how do I even like go for this? Like how do I hit on this guy like without coming off socially awkward? Like if I was drinking and had like 8 fireball shots, I would have just grabbed his ass. You know what I mean? Like I had no problem, but like now I'm like shit. Like. Like slipping in his DMs, like I don't even know how to play the game, and I used to be like really good at the game. So like that's something that I struggle with. And also like Eric was saying, like with age, like now that I'm in my mid 30s, like I felt like it was a good time that I got sober, but I'm also like, man, I'm getting like older, like everyone's like married now, and like. So now I feel like kind of like an old lady, and I also am sober, and I'm like, I don't know what the cool kids are doing. So like, it's just, it's hard. It's tough,
Dating while sober is just like a totally different vibe.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the worst thing, but it's just a different vibe because like if you're like if like I've gone out with women and it's just like, obviously the American thing to do on a date is go to a bar. And like I'm in a spot where I can do that. You seem like you're in a spot. You seem like you're in a spot. You seem like you're in a spot. You could do it per se. Like, and I'll be like, let's go to the bar, and I'll drink it. Can I get a soda water? And they're like, you don't drink? It's like, no. It's like, why didn't you tell me this? It's like, I mean, I don't know where you live. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't give me information about. I don't even know your last name. So like, why would I? What you know? Yeah. But it's just like it's the concept. I feel like of. I feel like everybody's just afraid of things. Like fear is like taking over dating, and that like I don't want to be on a date with you because you might relapse type shit. But it's like you don't know the whole story of why I quit and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
for sure.
That's just.
I feel like for me, a red flag, if they have a problem with me not drinking, like I don't want to date them. Like people that don't have drinking problems don't have a problem with you not drinking. Right. That's what I've learned in sobriety.
Some people don't make the association. Some people actually, I can't blame them. Like don't get it. Yeah. Especially in the beginning, like, you can't have a. Sure, you don't want to drink?
You have a beer? Like, just one?
Yeah.
Just one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, going abroad, like Europeans don't get it.
Oh yeah, of course not. Yeah.
You're sober? What's that? You don't drink a beer at noon? Like, you don't want a glass of wine in Italy? Like, what the fuck?
If you're pardon me for being in your business, but if you happen to date or go out dating, would you care if the person you were dating was sober or not?
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, okay, no. The person I'm dating right now does partake, but is fully supportive of what I'm doing, so doesn't
Nice.
partake as much.
Okay.
And that's fine, because I would never want to interrupt his good time.
Sure.
But getting on these apps and stuff, you need a hit of something to even scroll
Fair
through
enough,
and try to read a lot of these apps. So I get it. Aside from the fear, before even getting out there and trying to date, before even trying to know other people, it's better to like take that time where you have that clarity and get to know yourself.
Yeah, true.
So the folks that are out there that can't support you because they're too busy drinking or they're too busy enjoying their good time at the club, they don't have a why. They don't have a why should they stop.
Right.
They're out there having
That's
too much
true.
of a good time, living their life, and that's fun. God bless them. Lord knows, I'd rather be shaking this ass at one of these nightclubs on the north side like I used to do all throughout my 20s, but I can't do that shit no more because I'm older and I'm wiser. So it's just about having your why and knowing, like, why am I even drinking?
Yeah.
It took a lot of deep dive into not just be like, oh, I'm drinking because, I bombed last night, or I'm drinking because
I woke up.
he mentioned my ex and I didn't want to have that conversation, or
Makes me funnier on stage.
Yeah, a lot of people have that thought in their head. I feel like it's such a fallacy in a way, because like people always like credit like artists that like create these things or whatever, and it's like the drugs made them do it. It's like, no, like if you look at Jimi Hendrix, he was just a talented guy, just was insecure.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All these musicians are just really talented guys, but just nobody's like, they were like, when they got to a certain level, they were like, well, what do you want? And they're like, well, I'll try that drug. It's like, okay, and then it's like, we'll get it for you. And then it just came on to like, now everything is like, that's cool or just like creative has to have some type of drug with it nowadays. And it's, I don't know, for me, it's just like, because I'm sober, it's just like, I just don't get that. But that's just me.
So what we're looking at, and this is also possibly because I watch way too much Andrew Huberman on YouTube, is the fact that we're trying to replace those dopamine hits. We're trying to replace
that's
those
true.
actions and behaviors that make us feel good and yield that certain, outcome. And so that's so stinking hard when, like, I'm trying to not vape.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I had get on Elf bars hard. It's a damn shame if I wake up in the morning and I'm grabbing for some little orange thing that says gummy. Good shit. I'm getting my nicotine hit, but then I'm like, wait a second. Why am I still doing this? So like, I know what it does for me. I know the benefits of nicotine. I know how bad the vaping can be. I know I can replace one of those things.
So hard.
Dude,
I think
that's the hardest
I think
addiction.
I think true blue like fucking heroin addicts are like, fuck it, squares. That's the hardest one.
My purse is full of nicotine replacement gum.
Ooh.
Is it?
Yeah.
I vape, so I quit like actual cigarettes. But I ran out of my vape recently, and I had a couple cigarettes. I'm like, nothing has a bigger hold on me than nicotine.
It's so easy to
Oh,
pull
man.
you back in.
Oh,
Yep.
I know. This is the smell of it. You were talking about that guy's breath. Oh man, I smell like a good cigarette. I'm like,
It's the for
So
me,
nice.
it's the ritual. Everything
Right.
else
Yes,
that goes with it.
yeah.
Like the gum, like the
Yeah.
nicotine. All right, I'm not looking for a nicotine replacement. What am I about to do with my hands, bro?
That's true though. A lot of people like don't know what to do with their hands when they quit smoking. Like,
Origami.
or they
I
talk
don't-
out the side of their mouth and they feel like weird. Have you never said?
It's this whole
Yeah, the
it's
side of
this
the mouth
whole
talkers, and they're
thing,
just like
man.
this because it's so used to being over on this side.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask you, okay, so like you do the nicotine gum, how like regular gum lasts like 30 seconds and it's gone. Does like nicotine gum? Is it the same thing though? I don't smoke, so I've always been curious about the nicotine gum. It's like obviously it loses flavor, right? Or
After a while.
but is it like stronger than like regular gum in the idea of like the flavor at least? Or?
It is way stronger than regular gum, especially because you kind of start in like, increments of like 5 milligrams
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff like that. Or they may have 2 milligrams if you're a lighter smoker or like weaning yourself off. But like, you park that joint in your jaw like you're doing, snuff or something. Like you're
Yeah,
dipping.
yeah.
And you just park it and you just let the moistness get in there.
The moist.
You got to get the moisture to get all up in that gum. And then you start like, it's like spicy gum. It starts kind of like it's like black pepper kick,
Yeah,
like
like
somebody
it
just
tingles
sprayed
your-
pepper spray in your joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm in the back of the Uber on the way here, like, you know, I'm getting shit. You know,
Because of the gum or just because of like?
because of the gum, because
Okay.
of that little spiciness.
Oh,
hit me
okay.
real
So
hard.
I didn't know that. Okay, so that's interesting.
But you know, nowadays I'd rather do that than grab on something that's called watermelon brisberry. You know,
yeah.
Those ones are tough because I've seen the folks that like they grab the vape because they're trying to get off squares, and now they just do both.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They smoke
chewing
outside-
gum and I'm
Yeah, they
smoking
smoke
vape.
outside, then vape inside, then smoke outside. I was like, ooh. Good
Yeah.
luck with that.
gotta pick a struggle. Gotta pick.
Yeah.
I feel bad for so many people out there that like have the nicotine craving because it's like once you get that in your body, it's like I don't even know how you get rid of that.
You never
can't,
do.
right?
You never
hard,
really
right?
do.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I spent the day yesterday without even grabbing the gum. Like I had just run out of like the emergency vape I got because I heard somebody make a joke at a mic and I was like, fuck, I'm triggered.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then I ran out. And then yesterday I just didn't even think to pick it up. And boyfriend's like, yeah, you're being cranky, babe. Go pick up the gum. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
And vape's a tough one because it tastes like fucking Skittle Laffy Taffies. Like it tastes like frosted mini wheats milk. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You're like, oh, well, I'm not putting this down ever. Why would I?
Yeah.
This tastes like
I used to
fucking
do that.
unicorn pee.
I
Just
used to
wake
do
up
those
and smoke
vapes.
some cake, you know.
Hell
Yeah.
So nice. Yeah, I have mine's lychee. I love lychee.
You go somewhere and you smell all of a sudden unicorn tears and
I
dragon
know.
tears and shit. And it's like
Yeah.
milk and honey in this bitch. What is that? You know,
Cotton
and it's
candy.
Yeah.
that vape.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
I mean,
man.
they know what they're doing now. They can mark like. Can you imagine if like cigarettes back in the 50s were like, oh, we need flavored cigarettes? It's like it's already flavored, and then like somebody's great grandson's like, you know what? This vape needs pizza,
Yeah.
and then it's like that's the dumbest. Wait, can we do that? We can do that.
No, those old.
Why did you
school-
tell me we could do that? Dude, there's so many flavors out there, and then it's like, oh my god, man.
Yeah.
Like even with beer nowadays, I was telling her like there's so much an abundance of just like there's so many selections of anything it seems like out
Yeah, of
there. You know what I'm
course.
saying? Like with beer, I remember seeing like they had bacon flavored maple syrup beer, and you could buy that at a store.
Yeah. Wow.
Like all these pot dreams are coming to like, no, dude, that's a good idea. Jump on that.
Make it immediately.
I don't know.
I'm seeing a lot of new like non-alcoholic beers come out. I went
Have
to a
there?
bar last night and they had like a whole selection of NA beers, and I'm like,
That makes
hell yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like good shit. too.
Heineken Zero.
Yeah,
Shout
that
out to
that,
them.
that gives me kind of a hangover the next day.
They're pretty. I don't ever
I
go
feel like
ham.
shit.
Now here,
I
let
usually
me-
do like one
Let
or
me ask
two.
this question for everybody here. Okay, so like when you're at a bar, right, and you see people
Mm-hmm.
drinking, and you're drinking whatever you're drinking, do you feel that placebo of being drunk?
Nah.
I have felt it many times.
Yeah.
Because like I'll sit at a bar, everybody's like, maybe it's just like a narrow bar or something like that. You got your glass, they got their glass, they're talking, they're getting refills, I'm getting refills, and then you stand up to go to the bathroom, like, whoa, and you're like, wait, it's just soda water, right? Nobody's had that placebo, like that actual feeling of being drunk, or just like in that concept.
Like the vibe.
Like you're not drunk, obviously, but like you stand up and you're just like, whoa. Because you've seen so many people do that, and so many people say, man, I'm drunk, I'm shit-faced, and in your brain you're like, God, do I feel drunk?
Well, to something that Jackie was saying earlier.
Because I think you said
What
something.
catches me? What catches me is if I don't catch when it turns, when they get drunk. You know what I mean? Because you're sitting around. There's no weed smells. You go, oh, you're high. I can smell it on you, and your eyes are low and they're red.
Right.
And you're talking about who would win between He-Man and Goku. Like I get it. Like you're stoned. I get it, right?
It's a debate for
But
the
when,
ages.
when you're drunk, people just they slide into it, right?
Yeah.
And so when and then I'll just be sitting there and be vibing out, and next thing I know, I go, oh shit,
Yeah.
oh you guys are trashed. I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
You just leave them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They start like
I can't
repeating
do nothing.
themselves.
I can't
Yeah.
do anything with truly drunk people.
Oh, me neither.
Buzz people, nice little party vibe, but when they get shit faced and it's full on tribal mentality,
Okay.
I got nothing for you. I can't be here. I don't want you spitting
Yeah.
in my face
Yeah.
to tell me a story
I
about your third ex-girlfriend ago. I could give a fuck, bro. Like, don't sing Drake in my ear. I'm not about to dance with you, my boy.
Yeah.
Like, get away from me.
Is it just because he's singing Drake to you?
Yeah, if it was LL Cool J, I'd be like, oh, the OG. You know what I mean?
So it's always song choices with Mike.
What if it was pink cookies?
So if you're out and about at a bar with Mike Knight over here,
In a
make sure you
plastic
put on
bag.
the right song,
Getting crushed
because
by
then
a
he'll dance with
building.
you.
Who do you love?
You're gonna get so much shit at bars now.
Yeah,
People are gonna watch
probably,
this and it's gonna go
probably.
like 1 million views, and you'll be like, "That's that Mike Knight guy. I'm gonna sing to him right now. We're gonna dance."
I don't mind being around people having a good time, partying,
Right.
doing whatever. But when you cross over into the, I didn't buy a ticket for this ride. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going all the way to Howard. I'm getting off at like Addison or whatever. You know what I mean? Like have fun for the rest of that trip.
For
you know?
sure.
Yeah, because you can't overstay your welcome, and then it just you take out kind of an animosity on them, and it's
You do.
undeserving because
I feel
they're
that way
just
too,
taking
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And here's what I try to avoid is feeling better than anybody, just because I barely got my shit together with Scotch tape. And somebody's having a good time because they just went through 50 hours of a job that's pissing them off, and now they're getting tanked and blessing. But I'm sitting there, and you might say something that I'm annoyed by just because I'm stone cold sober and I'm not in your vibe, and I'm like, get your shit together. And it's not. That's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me to determine, and
Yeah.
I keep it in my brain, and I realize it's a problem. And I try and fix that. And another thing too is trying to offer advice to people. I got out of that one quick. That was my first year of dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah, we all go through it their first year.
Sober security. And let me tell you why I'm better than you. And it's like, nah, man.
I never
shut
did
your
that.
face.
Oh yeah, I was so loud and proud. I'm like, I'm sober.
Were you really?
I am awesome. Oh fuck
You too?
yeah! I told everybody.
I
I
felt
wanted
so-
a cake. I
felt
wanted
so
everything.
weird. I
yeah.
actually felt like I had cancer. I was like, don't tell anybody I'm sober. I still want to get laid. Just give me something dark, cranberry juice. Give me cranberry juice. What are you drinking? Cranberry juice.
Yeah.
What's inside the cranberry juice? There's liquor. There's some liquor in there. Just you want to fuck me? Come on, what are we
You
doing
just gotta
here?
put a lime on the drink.
yeah,
With some
yeah.
ice.
The lime solidifies its
It
actual
really
drink.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to the bartenders out there, don't be shitty if I ask for a sparkling water with a pineapple back.
Do you actually do that?
Huh?
Do you actually ask for that?
I've asked for like fake cocktails or whatever just to
Oh,
be
okay.
inconspicuous.
Okay.
Because I
I
don't
have
want to.
too.
Yeah, you know what I
No,
mean. But
for sure.
sometimes they'll look at me like. I think for ladies, it's probably a little bit more understandable. They're like, oh, she doesn't want to get bagged up in a fucking potato sack and dragged into it. But for a guy, I'm like, hey, can I get like an ice water, like a club soda and a pineapple?
Quit doing your impression of me. That's not cool. We talked about this earlier. What do you guys think about this? Now, I worked in the service industry as bartender and like server and stuff.
Same,
Obviously,
same.
same. Have you?
I've once before in my life.
No. Okay, so people will charge you for soda water places, and people will not charge you for soda water places.
Yeah, I got charged recently for that.
Well,
I was
here's the thing.
pissed.
I don't care because I feel like I want to give them something for that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm a patron at a bar. Like, here's money. Give me what I want. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get, like, obviously, case in point.
Well,
get
I ordered
pissed.
a burger too, though.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay,
a different story. If
okay,
it's
yeah.
just the soda water,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to pay
Right.
for that. But like,
Some
come on,
people,
it's like water.
some people lose their
Yeah.
shit when they have to pay for soda water, and I get it, but it's just like I just find that always funny to me. It's just like what $2? It's like, yeah, but it's just water. It's like,
I
well, then
got
next time
charged
just ask for water then.
$3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help these businesses stay
Yeah,
open.
exactly.
Y'all done seen all these businesses shut over the past
Yeah.
3 years. Some of your favorites done closed. You done had your mouth set
Heartbreaking.
on some sandwich someday, getting off of work, and then you ran down the street and then noticed that place was shuttered. Stop being cheap and pay these people what
Give
they
them their little
work.
funky
Give them their
$2.
money.
Give them their money.
Give them their money.
Yeah.
I agree.
You got it, especially
Yeah.
if you stop drinking.
Can I just say that if you're a comedian and you don't tip your bartender,
Yeah,
you're going to
that's bad.
hell.
Burn.
What the
What
fuck?
the hell's wrong with you?
That's the third commandment.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I always, when I put on shows, I always tell my bartenders, I'm like, you tell me who did
Yeah.
not tip you.
You name names.
Yeah.
I want to
bartenders.
know.
Bartenders are the key to the
Dude,
world. Like you
yes.
better take care of them and your serving staff.
Yeah.
And your
Always.
doorman or woman for fancy ass people on the podcast. Like
Yeah,
her.
seriously.
For people that live in high rises like her that have somebody open the door.
But she worked hard to get the high rise though, so you gotta give her that. She worked hard to get the high
But
rise.
take care of people. Take care of them.
yeah.
Yeah. Cause they're the ones, man. The janitor at the what was it? What was that Saturday Breakfast Club or whatever? The janitor knows everything. He goes through the trash. He reads your notes and letters.
True.
You better take care of the staff.
You should always take care of people. I don't care.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I've always been raised like you treat a janitor like you would a CEO.
Yeah.
Like you always treat people with respect. Always.
Yeah.
And some of the best people I know are, janitors or door people.
Of course.
Or cab ride drivers.
Because you those are probably the only friends you have in your building.
Are you being a hater?
No. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. I can say this without dropping any names or locations. Some of these wait staff are the producers of the show. So if you're shitty to them,
Oh, of course.
good luck getting booked.
They also make a lot of fucking money. Wait staff in Chicago makes a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Some of them are very lazy, though. I'll go on the record saying. But, like, the ones that really work hard for it, those are the ones that are the actual the soldiers of Chicago.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
Yeah, because I think we got shows in the building. Huh?
Yeah.
What times you want to plug your show?
Well, if I plug the show, then ain't no.
Yeah, we're on our way out. The excellent Matt Perez and his timing. Stellar.
Well, okay, then in that case,
Actually,
then you should be like, I did the show, I murdered, I crushed,
Well, the whole
I
panel.
got booked for 7 more shows.
Yeah.
I'm sober. It's gonna be a good night today.
It's gonna be a good night. Come on out.
Night,
But yeah, if you guys could please let the audience at home know your socials, how they can follow you, what you got going on, any plugs. Let's get them out there.
Yeah.
I am Erica Switzer everywhere. EricaSwitzer.com. Follow me on Instagram and YouTube. I need the monetization. At Erica Switzer, EricaSwitzer. Check me out on TikTok. I don't get on that mo. Trying to already get enough information on me.
Ticket's still watching.
And Twitter, at the Erica Switzer. I'm all over the place. Come check me out. I'm in Indianapolis in May. I'm in Milwaukee at
There
the
we
end
go.
of the month.
There we go.
I'm in New York in
Say
June.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
They are
Nice.
heavy.
Nice.
All right, what we got
Yeah.
going on?
So my name is Matthew Doyle Perez. Say hi to me on the bus.
That was good.
My Instagram handle is Roots and Roll 16. That's ROOTSANDROLL 16. Say hi to me at Mike's. Laugh at my jokes, and
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That just got me thinking. Sorry, I gotta plug this in. Comedians that don't follow other comedians back on Instagram, I just want to let you know.
you
That
know
is-
who you are.
As soon as I realized you didn't follow me back, I'm unfollowing your ass. And I did it to a few people today.
Fair
You
enough.
want name
Just so
drops?
you know, I don't care how great of a comedian you think you are, you can follow people back.
Yeah.
That being said, my Instagram is JackieZ77. I only post pictures of my dog, but you can follow my Instagram, Laugh Lab. That's all our upcoming shows. We do book some amazing comedians, and yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, yeah. I am Mike Knight Comedy on all the things. This is a Real Rap podcast. By the way, I am speaking for the panel. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything that comes down to sobriety, what it's like, need any help, you need an ear to listen to, if these guys cover your face if you don't want to be a part of this. But, I mean, reach out to anybody you see on this panel because,
Reach
I
out
mean,
and
for
touch
each
me.
stage here, like, for me, it's a better one for me. And this is to the people that believe and feel they have a problem. If you're just having a good time, continue to have a good time with whatever it is that you're doing. If you feel like you're having a problem, man, please reach out to me. or
Definitely me,
anybody here
please,
that's cool
yes.
with it. If you're in the game, you know us, or just somebody in general. If you can find somebody that knows, cold turkey, go to meetings, do whatever it is that you got to do your own research. But if you feel like you have a problem, reach out to somebody, talk to yourself, get to know yourself, make a decision. Try and knock in them 30 days. After 30 days, it's so much easier.
It's
Try
so
and knock
much
in that
easier.
year, because after a year, it's it's damn near a cakewalk, and my life, I'm telling you, has gotten extremely way much better after I put it down. For me, because I had a problem. You know.
For me too. 180 in my life.
Yeah. And
180.
you're still gonna be
Yeah.
if you're funny, you're still gonna be funny. If you're not funny, you're
still
still
not
gonna
be
not
funny.
be funny. But you'll probably find something funny about not being funny.
You'll know where your keys
After-
and your phone are at all times.
True. You won't
And
drunk
no
text.
more embarrassing text. The worst.
That's my favorite thing about being
thing
sober.
ever.
No 2:47 a.m.
Yeah.
voicemail
Oh,
and somebody
man.
I love you, Pamela. I know how I messed up.
Oh.
I'm so sorry about your sister.
Oh Jesus! Oh.
Real Rap Podcast. Mike, now you straight from the south side. Mike, now you. I'm just so happy to be here right now. Real Rap Podcast.